Now, for more than 3 decades, Paul McKenna has helped millions of people to improve their lives with hypnosis, NLP and havening. His latest book, Freedom from Anxiety, does exactly what it says on the tin, and I'm delighted that he joins us on the Lifestyle Show today. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be with you.
Now, I'm going to ask you about havening later, but I just wanted to know, you were actually a radio broadcaster yourself. So how did you become Paul McKenna, really?
Well, you're absolutely right. I started when I was 20 years old. I was on Radio Caroline on a ship. Very exciting. And I moved into local radio. And I'd had a bad day one day. I'd broken up with my girlfriend and I had a row with my boss, and the people in the apartment where I was living were keeping me up. And I had to go off to interview the local hypnotist. And I arrived and the guy went, look, rather than you interview me, I think you need me to do it to you. I was just very skeptical. I went, knock yourself out. Anyway, what happened was I relaxed back and I felt so calm. My mind slowed down and I felt peaceful and all my burdens lifted and I could suddenly think clearly. And I woke up and I thought it'd been a couple of minutes. It'd been half an hour. And I said, I feel brilliant. Have you got any books on this? And he said, sure. And he lent me one. I started reading and I'd be at a party and I'd say, I'm learning about hypnosis. And people would say, oh yeah, really, it won't work on me. I go, well, shall we find out? And I'd have somebody up dancing like a ballerina or something daft. But I also thought, well, the real use for this is to help people improve their lives, to lose weight, quit smoking, become confident. So that's really how I started on the journey, down the road. And then at some point I thought I'll write a book, and the book was a, international bestseller. And so, I've been doing this job now for 35 years, I suppose, in some form or other. And, these days I still write books. I still do live events and I'm out in some form or another helping people.
Yeah, for sure. And thank goodness you are. It's interesting because it all started out with you being stressed. And at the moment, the whole world is stressed out, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we've come out of a biological pandemic and we're in a psychological one. Anxiety, stress, depression, all sorts of things have gone through the roof because, you open a newspaper or you turn on the TV and you're under attack. It's the virus, it's the economy, it's the war, whatever. And so understandably, people are very stressed and very anxious. And what's interesting is in the last sort of 20, 30 years, we've made some major advances in how to very quickly and easily treat anxiety, stress, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress, all these sorts of things using lots of modern psychological techniques.
Very interesting, very interesting. And I think some people think that they need stress to give them the edge.
Well, that's a very good point you just raised there, Selina. I think that when I talk to people who are anxious people, they'll say exactly that. They'll say, my stress, my anxiety motivates me. If you just made me peaceful, I wouldn't get anything done. And, I can see their point. However, when you're stressed or anxious too much, all of the bandwidth of your thinking is taken up with survival thoughts. So actually, you're not able to think so clearly. You get exhausted, you weaken the immune system, make bad decisions, etc. So a little bit of stress, if you like, is a good thing because it can be motivating. But people who live their life white knuckles thinking, I've got to have my stress or I'll lose my edge, are actually kind of kidding themselves. It's a false economy.
Right. Okay. Now, we mentioned havening earlier. I've heard of NLP. I've obviously heard of hypnosis. But what exactly is havening?
Right. So there's a series of techniques now that have become very popular that fall into the category of psychosensory. And so there's one where you look up and move your eyes back and forth that Prince Harry uses, which I'm not a big fan of. It does work, but for me, that doesn't stick. There's another where you tap on various acupuncture points on your body that works very well. That's shown to be very effective in reducing stress and trauma and things like that. But the one I like is havening, as in a safe haven. And all of these have been scientifically researched. It was actually created by a brilliant American scientist, a friend of mine. And I can demonstrate it to you now. So if you put your right hand on your left shoulder and your left hand on your right shoulder and stroke the side of your arms, right? Now, when you do that, it feels comforting because when you were a child, your mother held you in her arms and she rocked you. You're hardwired. When you do this, just rubbing the side of your arms here and some other places in the body, you're hardwired to produce delta, massive amounts of delta waves in the brain. And delta is synonymous with very deep relaxation when we're in deep sleep. So what happens is you think about, we'll do it now, we'll do one of the techniques.
Okay.
Think about something that makes you anxious or stressed, worry, so that sort of thing. And get as much anxiety, stress, and worry going as you can, because soon we're going to banish it. We're going to knock it right back. That's it. So get anxious, get stressed, get worried, still stroking, just stroking the side of your arms. And then clear your mind. Clear your mind. And I'd like you to imagine you're walking on a beach. And I'm going to count out loud. And each time I count, take a footstep in the sand. 1, 2, still stroking the side of your arms. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And now remember a good time, a time you felt happy. Return to it like you're back there again now. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel how good you felt, still stroking the side of your arms. And then what I'd like you to do is just place your arms out in front of you with your palms facing up. And in one of your hands, put all of the anxiety, all of the stress, all of the fear, all of the worry in one of your hands. And in the other, put peace, calm, comfort, peace, calm, comfort. Move your attention above your head. So you're thinking from above your head now, and you can look down and see your hands down there. And now experience the two emotional states at the same time: anxiety and peace, stress and calm, worry and comfort. Anxiety, peace, stress, calm, worry, comfort. And see, right now, you should be feeling very relaxed. And we did that in 90 seconds.
I'm not sure if I can carry on with the interview. I'm a little too relaxed, but I think that might be just your voice, Paul. Wow. I hope our listeners did it at home. I am very, very relaxed, I have to say. A bit too relaxed. Yeah, interesting stuff. So that's a good example of somebody that's anxious, which is exactly what we're talking about, to get rid of it.
Yeah, so what happens, this book comes with 18 audio techniques. You download them for free onto your, say, smartphone. And so say you're feeling a bit stressed, you hit a button, I pop out and I do it. I get you calm, or I get you feeling resilient, or it comes with a trance. And excuse me, I've made quite a few trances over the years. This one is very different. I mean, there is not a chance on this earth that when you listen to the hypnotic trance that comes with this book, that you can stay anxious. You will be incredibly calm, but in a relaxed, alert way. You don't lose any of your edge. You're suddenly able to, more in control of your feelings and thoughts. You're able to be more resilient, more confident.
So if you're in a trance, is it best to do it at home? I mean, do you actually lose control, like being hypnotized?
Sure. Well, very interesting question. Yes. So the thing is, it's best to do it when you can safely relax completely. You couldn't do it whilst you're driving or operating machinery or anything like that. So what you do is either first thing in the morning, a lot of people use it when they get in the evening. And what they do is they put it on, turn the phone off, put the headphones in and just relax for half an hour. Wake up feeling fantastic, ready for the rest of the day.
Right. Okay. Now, you mentioned as well about Delta, which is obviously the best rest you can have. It's the deepest sleep. For people that are so anxious that they can't sleep, should they do that in order to get to Delta?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. These techniques are very good for it. I mean, I have actually, I put at the beginning of the pandemic about 3 years ago, I put a lot of my trances up on my YouTube channel. And you can use the sleep one for free. At the moment, I've just left it up there for a while. So I wanted people to be able to, get through this very challenging time. So that was my way of helping. But yeah, doing some hypnosis, doing some havening, doing any sort of meditation or relaxation before you go to sleep is an excellent idea, because people who can't sleep well, insomniacs, they worry that they're not going to be able to sleep. And then they get all tense about it. And so lo and behold, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They get into bed and they think, I got to sleep now, try and will themselves to sleep rather than let it happen. And so the more they try and go to sleep, the more they stay awake. And the more they stay awake, the more anxious they get, etc. So it becomes a self-reinforcing loop. So by interrupting that loop and getting very calm, very still, slowing your mind down, you are in much better shape to get a good night's sleep.
And what if somebody only got anxious in certain situations? So say they were fine, they were walking along, then they saw somebody who made them feel anxious. Is there something very quick somebody can do, like maybe NLP?
There's a great technique that you can use in the field very quickly. In the field, I mean in life, right? This is it's called freeze frame, and it's from the Institute of Heart Math. This is used by every division of all 4 divisions of the American military. I can show you right now. So say you're in a real life situation and you're feeling anxious. Do this. Put your hand on your heart. Now, as soon as you put your hand on your heart, you draw your attention to the heart, which is really the second brain. So you instantly reduce cortisol. And then often people who are stressed don't breathe properly. But aside from that, when you take 3 slow, deep breaths, you actually relax yourself. Parasympathetic nervous system. It's very, very easy. So you do it now. Put your hand on your heart and then breathe in with me.
Okay.
That's it, through your nose and then gently out through your mouth. And then breathe in again. And then gently out through your mouth. And then breathe in again. And then as you let that third breath go, I'd like you to remember a time that you felt really good and return to that time like you're back there again now. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel how good you felt all over again. There you go. So in about 30, 40 seconds, you take yourself from being really stressed and overwhelmed into a place that's much more resourceful and resilient.
Blimey, it's all good stuff. Can I just ask you one more question?
Sure.
What's the science behind hypnosis? Are you actually changing the way somebody's mind works?
Well, yes, hypnosis has been studied now for more than 100 years. And the 2 things that come out of the research is that firstly, it's safe. And secondly, it works incredibly well for most behavioral changes, for losing weight, quitting smoking, overcoming phobias, sleeping deeply, these sorts of things, getting motivated. And what happens is through deep relaxation or just focus of attention, we're able to communicate with the unconscious mind. The mind we actively think with is called the conscious mind. The unconscious mind regulates all of our thinking and behaviors. So when you get in a car, you don't have to think, how do I drive? You just think about where you're going, and your unconscious mind helps you, maneuver, turn the steering wheel, et cetera, et cetera. When you, I suppose, all day long, a lot of things you do are regulated by the unconscious. You don't have to think, how do I tie my shoelaces or how do I open a door? You just do it because it's a habit. It's stored in the unconscious mind. And hypnosis lets us communicate with the unconscious mind. The havening technique is different. In order to, when we get traumatized or anxious, it sets up, if you like, a pattern of electricity and chemistry in the brain that creates a phosphorylation in part of the nerves, right? And so what happens is when we think of the upsetting thing, and we create the havening touch by stroking the side of our arms and doing simple visualizations, we flood the brain with delta, and that dephosphorylates it, which means that it actually changes what we call the landscape of the brain. So you're making a biological change with the brain. So some of these things are done also, in visualization, like NLP techniques, again, that set up new patterns in the unconscious. So that's a very, very simple overview of the science of it. There's lots of research into hypnosis. I mean, absolutely tons of it, thousands and thousands of studies. There's less studies into the psychosensory techniques because they're relatively new, but the studies show they work.
Yeah, for sure they do, for sure. It is fascinating stuff. And if any of our listeners want to stop worrying, want to feel calmer, want freedom from anxiety, well, that's the name of the book that Paul has, his latest book, Freedom from Anxiety. We're selling it now on our website, TRE.radio. Of course, it's by Paul McKenna, who I'm delighted to chat to now. And how can people find out more about you, Paul, as well? Do you have your own website? I assume you do.
Yeah, that's right. You could go to paulmckenna.com and you'll find out what I'm up to there. Or, look at what's going on my social media. I tend to post a lot of stuff, or rather my team does post stuff there, about what I'm doing and where I'm going, and a little bit of background into my life, that sort of thing. But, there's you could go to my YouTube channel if you want to try some of the techniques for free. But yeah, the new book, I'm very, very proud of this. It's an easy read, and it comes with, as I say, 18 audio techniques that will help you in the way that we've sort of been talking about in the last 20 minutes or so. Right. Well, I'll certainly be getting it. It's my absolute pleasure to chat to you. Thanks for being on the show, Paul. Thank you, Selina. Very nice to talk to you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.